With a single barked "Get out," I was thrown out of the CEO's office, becoming the laughingstock of the entire company. They didn't know I was actually a reader trapped inside a novel. The beautiful CEO who had just kicked me out was Victoria Sterling, the book's ruthless villainess, a false heiress destined to be betrayed by everyone and meet a miserable end. I was just Caleb Reed, a background character, a security guard who only wanted to stay away from her and keep his job. But the moment I returned to the surveillance room, the internal line rang. It was her voice, trembling with suppressed tears. "I'll give you 3 minutes. Get back here." When I pushed the door open, she didn't yell. Instead, she grabbed me, hugging me so tightly her body shook. Her eyes were red. "They all like the new girl. What about you? Do you think she's better too?" Before I could answer, she whispered in my ear, her tone bordering on desperate begging. "Please, don't like her. You can only belong to me." Bang! A stack of files slammed onto the desk in front of me, hitting with enough force to make the surveillance monitors jitter. I looked up to meet a frosty, beautiful face. Victoria Sterling, CEO of Sterling Global, and also the woman destined to be the cannon fodder in this corporate romance novel I'd been sucked into. Right now, she was looking down at me, her sharp eyes filled with undisguised disgust. "Caleb Reed, is this your idea of working? I told you to keep an eye on the cargo in Warehouse 3. What exactly were you watching?" "Me? I am Caleb. Just an unlucky guy who got pulled into the plot." 1 second, I was in my apartment, making fun of how cliché this book was, and the next, I was inhabiting the body of a security guard with my name. My mission was simple: be a background extra, slack off, and wait for the story to end. But who could have guessed that on my first day, I'd doze off, miss a blip on the screen, and get caught red-handed by the Dragon Lady herself. "Ms. Sterling, save it." She cut me off coldly. "Your bonus for the month is gone. Next time, you're fired." She turned on her 4-inch stilettos and walked away without looking back, leaving a chilling aura in her wake. Outside the glass, a few colleagues poked their heads in, schadenfreude plastered across their faces. "Nice one, Caleb. Sleeping on your first day under the tyrant's nose. You got guts." "Ms. Sterling is famous for taking no prisoners." I ignored them, slumping into my chair and exhaling a long breath. Whatever. According to the original plot, the real daughter, Lily Summers, would parachute into the company in a month. Everyone's attention would shift to her. Victoria, the false heiress, would spiral, eventually being destroyed by the male lead, Julian Banks, and the Sterling family. I just had to lay low until then. I made myself a cup of black coffee, forced my eyes open, and stared at the dozens of screens. Slacking is nice, but survival is priceless. The next few days, I was a model employee. Victoria didn't bother me again. Just when I thought I could coast, the plot threw a curveball. It was late, around 3:00 a.m. The building was dead silent. I was leaning back, watching viral dance videos on TikTok with my headphones maxed out. I didn't notice the surveillance room door creep open. A shadow slipped in. I didn't freeze until I felt a cold metal against my neck. A box cutter was pressed right against my carotid artery. My phone clattered to the floor. My headphones flew off. "Don't move. Scream, and you're dead." A raspy male voice, suppressed with rage, hissed behind my ear. In the reflection of the monitor, I saw a man in a baseball cap and mask, only his bloodshot eyes visible. It was him. My brain short-circuited. This was a plot point. A supplier Victoria had bankrupted was supposed to break in tonight to steal trade secrets. In the book, a patrol guard catches him. But the patrol hadn't come. He'd found me instead. "Disable the cameras for the server room B." 5 minutes, the man ordered viciously. My legs turned to jelly. Dude, I'm just a guard. I don't know how to hack the..." "Shut up." The blade pressed harder. I felt a sting. Just as I thought I was done for, the door pushed open again. Victoria stood there. She was barefoot, wearing a black silk robe, her long hair loose. No makeup, yet she looked breathtakingly dangerous. Her complex gaze swept over the intruder and me. "It's the middle of the night. What game are we playing?" Her voice was soft, but carried a terrifying authority. The intruder hadn't expected the CEO. He panicked, dragging me backward. "Victoria Sterling. You bitch. You ruined my family. Tonight, I ruin you." Victoria looked at him with zero ripples of emotion, just impatience. "Let him go. Your target is me. This has nothing to do with a security guard." The man laughed maniacally. "Nothing to do with him? He's your employee. Ms. Sterling, don't you hate incompetence? Since when do you care about a guard's life?" My heart sank. Great. I was officially part of the main plot now. Victoria didn't speak. She just stared at me, her eyes bottomless abysses. Suddenly, she moved. I didn't even see clearly, just a blur. The next second, a scream tore through the air. The man was on the floor, clutching a shattered wrist, rolling in agony. Victoria stood over him, holding a heavy fire extinguisher safety wrench she'd pulled from somewhere. She didn't even look at the man. She walked straight to me. Her cold fingertips touched my neck where the blade had left a thin line of blood. "Does it hurt?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. I stared at her, too stunned to speak. Suddenly, she leaned in. Right there, in front of the man groaning on the floor, she extended the tip of her tongue and gently licked the bead of blood from the cut. The warm, wet sensation sent a shockwave through my entire body. I froze. What? What was this? Where's the germaphobe? Ice Queen CEO from the book. Why was she doing something so intimate and psychotic? Victoria pulled back, her eyes gleaming dangerously in the dim light. She looked at me, a faint, almost cruel smile touching her lips. Sweet. Me? The guy on the floor was so horrified he stopped screaming. Victoria finally glanced at him like he was trash, pulled out her phone, and dialed calmly. Security chief? There's a rat in the building. Come take out the trash. She hung up, grabbed my wrist, and dragged me out of the room like nothing happened. She pulled me in her private elevator straight to the top floor. Her office was dark, lit only by the city skyline of Manhattan. She pushed me onto a leather sofa and went to the wet bar for wine and a first aid kit. Come here. She sat me down, dabbing antiseptic on my neck with extreme focus, as if restoring a priceless artifact. The sting snapped me back to reality. I looked at her face, inches from mine. Ms. Sterling, call me Victoria. I was lost. Thank you, I tried instead. Her hand paused. She looked up. Why thank me? You saved me. No. She shook her head, her eyes darkening. I wasn't saving you. She leaned in, her warm breath ghosting over my cheek. I was just retrieving my property. Your property? She didn't explain. She just poured a glass of red wine. Drink. Nerves. I stared at the crimson liquid. I felt like if I drank this, there was no going back. She didn't force me. She just sipped her own. Caleb, she said suddenly, what kind of person do you think I am? I swallowed. Could I say ruthless villain? Ms. Victoria, you're a very capable, decisive leader. I scrambled for the most corporate, safe answer possible. She listened, then laughed, a low sound filled with bleakness. Capable? Decisive? She murmured. What use is that? She walked to the floor-to-ceiling window, looking down at the glittering sprawl of New York. They say I'm cold-blooded, that I have no heart. Caleb, what about you? Do you think that too? She turned back, a fragile hope in her eyes. Something tugged at my chest. Was the plot breaking? I shook my head, almost involuntarily. No, I don't think that. Her eyes lit up like a struck match. She strode back to me, planting her hands on either side of the sofa, boxing me in. Then what do you think I am? Her breathing hitched. Surrounded by her expensive perfume, my heart rate spiked. I think you. Before I could construct a lie, she dipped her head and pecked my lips. It was light as a feather, gone in an instant. She straightened up, looking down at my flush face like a queen who had just claimed a new territory. She whispered, starting today, you belong to me. Your salary is now 10 times higher. Your title, executive personal assistant. Your job. She traced a finger over my lips, her eyes dangerous. Is to be by my side 24 hours a day. On call. The next day, I showed up with dark circles under my eyes and a Band-Aid on my neck. HR had moved at light speed. The internal system already listed me. Caleb Reed, Special Executive Assistant to the CEO, a position that didn't exist yesterday. My old security captain looked at me like I was an alien. Caleb, did you take a bullet for the boss? I just laughed awkwardly. I couldn't exactly say no. The Ice Queen licked my neck and kissed me. I entered the office. Victoria was already there, back in her armor. A sharp white suit, hair pinned up, radiating power. It was like the vulnerable woman from last night was a hallucination. Morning, Ms. Sterling. She looked up. I told you. Use my name. Victoria. Good. She nodded. Go make me a coffee. Black. No sugar. I went to the break room. When I returned, there was someone else in the office. A girl in a simple white dress, looking innocent and nervous, clutching a resume. Lily Summers. The true daughter. The actual protagonist. She was here. The plot was back on track. I felt a surge of joy. According to the book, Lily enters as an intern, attracts the male lead Julian Banks with her kindness, and Victoria gets jealous, acts crazy, and destroys herself. Perfect. Once Victoria focuses on her, I can fade back into the background. I placed the coffee on Victoria's desk, and stepped back to watch the show. Victoria didn't even look at Lily. She took a sip of coffee and frowned. Too hot. She extended the cup to me. I paused, taking it instinctively. Then she dropped a bomb. Blow on it. Me? Question mark. Lily? Question mark. The air in the room solidified. Excuse me, I said. Victoria leaned back, watching me with amusement. Blow on it until it's cool. My face burned. This was humiliating. Lily was staring, eyes wide, looking scandalized. Ms. Sterling, isn't this inappropriate? I croaked. What's inappropriate? Victoria raised an eyebrow. You're my assistant. Can't handle a small task. I inhaled. Patience. For the sake of my retirement plan, I would endure. I lowered my head and blew gently on the coffee. It felt incredibly weird. Lily looked terrified. Victoria, however, looked pleased. She took the cup back. Perfect temperature. Only then did she acknowledge Lily. You, the new intern. Why yes, Ms. Sterling. I'm Lily Summers. Resume. Lily handed it over. Victoria flipped a page, then tossed it onto the desk with a slap. Here it comes, I thought. The villain monologue. Mediocre education. Zero experience. Victoria deadpanned. What did you get in? Lily paled, tears welling up. I went through the standard process. Enough. Victoria cut her off. Report to administration. You're sorting mail. She dismissed the protagonist of the book like she was nothing, then turned to me. Caleb, come here. Massage my shoulders. Me? Wait, the script is wrong. Shouldn't she tear up the resume? Shouldn't she scream? Why is she focusing on me? I froze. Victoria's gaze sharpened. Are you deaf? I looked at her, then at Lily, who was watching us with a mix of pity and curiosity. I gritted my teeth and walked behind Victoria, placing my hands on her stiff shoulders. Harder. Did you skip breakfast? She commanded, eyes closed. I pressed harder. Lily stood there awkwardly for a long moment before whispering, I'll go now, and fleeing the room. The door clicked shut. Victoria immediately grabbed my hand from her shoulder. Her hand was cold. She pulled it to her lips and kissed the back of my hand. Then, looking through my fingers, she stared at me darkly. You were staring at her. Her voice was soft, coiling around my heart like a snake. Do you think she's prettier than me? Panic spiked. Here comes the jealousy arc. No, I wasn't. Deny. Really? She smirked dangerously. I saw it. You looked at her for 3 seconds. Curiosity? Pity. She tilted her head. Caleb, I don't like seeing anyone else in your eyes. Victoria, you misunderstood. I just felt bad for a new hire getting grilled. Bad for her. She laughed, a low, humorless sound. She stood up and advanced on me. I backed up until I hit the wall. She planted her hands on either side of my head, a textbook cabinet. Caleb, do you think I'm a villain? She was so close. Do you think because I bullied her, she's innocent and I'm evil? I gulped. If I said yes, that's exactly the plot of this book, I'd be dead. Seeing my silence, her eyes dimmed with hurt. I knew it. She whispered, looking aggrieved. Everyone likes her. Everyone circles around her. I thought you were different. My heart skipped a beat. This was wrong. In the book, Victoria's paranoia doesn't start until Lily's identity is revealed. Why is she spiraling now? Is my presence causing a butterfly effect? Victoria, I don't. Then prove it. She snapped her head up, obsession burning in her eyes. Prove you aren't like them. Ow! She smiled, beautiful and terrifying. Simple. She tapped a manicured finger against her lips. Kiss me. Right here. Now. Show me there's no room for her in your head. My brain short-circuited. I looked at her trembling eyelashes. I knew refusing her now would trigger something catastrophic. She was a ticking time bomb. I closed my eyes, leaned in, and... Knock, knock, knock. Ms. Sterling, Mr. Banks is here with an urgent report. The secretary's voice came through the intercom. Julian Banks, the male lead. Finally. I pulled back like I'd been scalded. Victoria looked annoyed at the interruption, but composed herself instantly, the ice mask sliding back into place. Sentiment. The door opened, and Julian walked in. Handsome, sunny, wearing a perfectly tailored suit. He was the marketing manager and Lily's destined love interest. His eyes landed on me immediately, brows furrowing. Ms. Sterling. He handed over a file. The updated strategy for the South Side project. Victoria flipped through it casually. Julian kept side-eyeing me with hostility. I got it. In the book, he's secretly in love with Victoria before falling for Lily. Seeing a boy toy assistant must be killing his ego. Good. Excellent. Take me down, hero. Victoria slapped the folder shut. Decent work. Julian beamed. Thank you. However, Victoria added, bring Lily Summers onto the team. Julian blinked. Lily? The intern. Problem? No. It's a major project. She's green. I said, take her. So, take her. Victoria was playing matchmaker. Yes. The plot was healing. I almost cheered. Julian nodded reluctantly and turned to leave. Wait. Victoria stood up, walked over to me, and right in front of Julian, reached out to straighten my collar. Her touch was intimate, possessive. Julian's face turned a distinctive shade of green. Oh, Julian, she said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. I forgot to mention, Caleb is my boyfriend now. Please look out for him around the office. Julian looked like he'd been slapped. He glared at me with pure venom. Why this nobody? His eyes screamed. I wanted to cry. Victoria wasn't matchmaking. She was using Julian to mark her territory. She was throwing me into the fire. Julian left without a word, slamming the door. Victoria turned to me, satisfied. See? Now everyone knows you're mine. She cupped my face. So don't look at anyone else. Okay. From that day on, my life became a luxury prison. Victoria moved me into a high-end condo across from the office. For convenience, she claimed. I tried to refuse. Do you think you have a choice? She asked. Or do you prefer the guard dorms? My wardrobe was replaced with designer suits. A black Bentley picked me up, and the black card. She shoved it into my hand. Swipe whatever you want. I like my things to look good. Then the threat. But I see every transaction. If you buy so much as a bottle of water for anyone else. She didn't finish. The office gossip was brutal. I was the gold digger, the toy boy. Look at Caleb, sleeping his way to the top. Shameless. Hey, it's a skill. Taming the dragon lady? That takes talent. I learned to ignore it. Dignity doesn't pay bills. I settled into my role as the glorified pet. I played mobile games while she worked. I fetched water during meetings. She became clingy. If I left the room, she got anxious. We video called until she fell asleep. It was pathological. One day in the break room, I ran into Lily. Caleb, she whispered. Is it true? Are you and Ms. Sterling really together? Before I could answer, a voice cut through the air like liquid nitrogen. Do we need to report our relationship status to you? Victoria appeared in the doorway. She walked up, wrapped an arm around my waist, and pulled me tight against her. We're together, she told Lily, because he's clean, unlike some people who are dirty inside and out. It was a direct attack. Lily teared up instantly. Suddenly, Julian burst in, shielding Lily. Victoria, that's enough. What did she do to deserve this humiliation? The knight saves the damsel. I watched excited. Victoria laughed. She looked at me. Look, Caleb, don't they look perfect together? Like a fairy tale prince and princess. I nodded stiffly. But, she whispered, her smile turning gruesome, I hate fairy tales. She walked up to Julian. You want to protect her? Fine. Starting tomorrow, you're transferred to the gatehouse. You can guard the front door and watch how I take care of your princess every single day. The news that the marketing manager had been demoted to a gate guard hit the company like a bomb. Everyone knew it was Victoria's doing. A warning shot to anyone who disrespected her new favorite me. I saw Julian at the gate every morning, hatred burning in his eyes. Lily had it worse. Victoria made her scrub floors, run errands in the rain, and check expired files for typos. It was brutal. I felt no satisfaction, only dread. The plot was off the rails. Victoria wasn't just being a villain. She was terrifyingly efficient. One night, Victoria took me to business dinner. A greasy client, Mr. Wong, got drunk and tried to put his hand on Victoria's thigh. Ms. Sterling, so young, so beautiful. I started to stand up, but Victoria pushed me down. Smiling her corporate smile, she picked up a cup of scalding tea and accidentally tipped it. God, Mr. Wong shrieked, clutching his boiled hand. Oh, my apologies, Mr. Wong. My hand slipped. Her face was stone cold. The dinner ended abruptly. In the car, the silence was suffocating. I realized then, she wasn't impulsive. She was calculated. What are you thinking? Her voice broke the dark. Nothing. You look nervous. She slid across the leather seat, pressing against me. Caleb, are you afraid of me? No. I lied, looking into her eyes. I'm just worried. That guy was slime. Be careful. She studied me for a long time before leaning back. He won't dare try again. We arrived at my condo, well, the one she bought. She followed me up. I'm coming in. She walked around like she owned the place, barefoot, inspecting everything. She stopped at my desk, picking up a framed photo of me and my parents. Your parents? Yeah. Did they? Treat you well? Of course. They loved me. That must be nice. She set the frame down, sounding envious. She walked up behind me and wrapped her arms around my waist, burying her face in my back. Caleb. Her voice was muffled. Don't be afraid of me, okay? I won't hurt you. I'm just so terrified of losing you. I froze. Beneath the armor, she was shaking. For the first time, I felt the human being under the villain archetype. Something in my chest softened. I turned around and hugged her back. I'm not afraid, I said, my voice raspy. I'm not going anywhere. I meant it. She stopped shaking. She looked up, eyes swimming with tears, and kissed me. This wasn't a power play. It was desperate, tender, asking to be loved. We fell asleep on the couch, tangled together. When I woke up, she was gone. A sticky note on the table, in sharp, elegant handwriting. Breakfast is in the fridge. Eat it. That's an order. I smiled. We entered a weirdly stable phase. She was still possessive, but softer. She rented out a movie theater just for us. She tried to cook and nearly burned down the kitchen. Watching the terrifying soap covered in flour, I realized she was actually kind of cute. Meanwhile, Lily and Julian were suffering, but Victoria seemed to lose interest in tormenting them. I thought we were safe, until the board meeting. Victoria's father, Arthur Sterling, the chairman, returned from abroad. He called an emergency board meeting regarding the succession. I sat next to Victoria. The room was packed. Arthur sat at the head, looking grim. Next to him sat Lily Summers. But she had transformed, wearing a Chanel suit, hair perfect. The ugly duckling was now a swan. Let's begin, Arthur announced. As you may have heard, Lily here is my biological daughter. Gasps filled the room. All eyes turned to Victoria with pity and glee. Victoria sat straight as a rod, expressionless. Lily will be joining the board as vice president, Arthur continued. As for Victoria, you will remain CEO for now. But the Southside project is handed over to Lily. You will assist her. It was a public execution, stripping her power, making her serve the newcomer. Victoria paled, but stayed silent. Lily stood up and bowed. Please guide me. Sister. She looked at Victoria. Please help me. Victoria finally moved. She smiled, a chilling sight. Help you, she whispered. Sure, if you get on your knees and beg. The room went dead silent. Arthur slammed the table. Victoria, you insolent. Is that how you speak to your sister? Sister, Victoria laughed, standing up and walking toward Arthur. For 20 years, I thought I was your daughter. I learned piano at 3, finance at 10. I sacrificed my youth for this company. I drank until I bled. I took the hits. And now, you want me to bow to her? Arthur stepped back, rattled by her intensity. I made you all millions, she told the board members, who looked away in shame. And now you want to stomp on me? She turned to Lily. Stop looking so pathetic. It's disgusting. She pointed to the CEO chair. You want the seat? Take it. She ripped her nameplate off the table and smashed it onto the floor. I quit. She walked out, heels clicking like gunshots. I didn't hesitate. I ran after her. Caleb, stop. Arthur roared. I kept running. I caught the elevator just as it was closing. Victoria was inside, back to me, shoulders shaking. Victoria. She didn't turn. Get out. The doors closed. In the silence, I saw tears hitting the floor. The queen was crying. Silently, heartbreakingly. Her world had collapsed. I wrapped my arms around her from behind. It's okay, I whispered. It's okay. You have me. She turned, buried her face in my chest, and sobbed like a lost child found. Victoria's resignation rocked the business world. Everyone waited for her to crash. She didn't. The next day, she registered a new investment firm using her savings. The office was 2 small rooms across from my condo. 2 employees, her and me. I was now the all-purpose assistant, driver, janitor, secretary. My salary dropped to $5,000 a month. I didn't care. I watched her rebuild. She traded the couture for jeans and white shirts. We ate cheap takeout tacos. She hustled, meeting clients, humbling herself. One night, she drank so much to secure a contract, she ended up in the ER with a stomach bleed. I sat by her hospital bed, holding her hand. Victoria, stop. Money isn't worth this. Caleb, she whispered weakly, am I useless? Without the Sterling name, I'm nothing. Bullshit, I said firmly. You are the bravest, most brilliant woman I know. I looked her in the eye. Before, you kept me. Now, I'll keep you. I could drive Uber. I could deliver food. I promise you won't starve. She laughed through tears. Idiot. I'd never let you deliver food. The door opened. Lily stood there with a fruit basket. Sister, I heard you were sick. Victoria's face hardened. I'm not your sister. Get out. Lily didn't leave. She placed a folder on the bedside table. I know you hate me, Lily said, looking surprisingly mature. I took your life, but I'm not here to ask for forgiveness. This is the South Side Project data, and a transfer agreement for 10% of Sterling Global shares. We were stunned. Why? Victoria asked. Because it's yours, Lily said. My dad. He's old and confused. He misses you. He only kicked you out to toughen you up. And me? She laughed bitterly. I'm terrible at business. The board is eating me alive. The company needs you. She bowed deeply. Please, come home. Silence stretched. Finally, Victoria spoke. I'll take the shares, but I'm not going back to the Sterling family. The day I walked out, that tie was cut. Lily nodded, defeated but understanding. Okay. After she left, Victoria handed the share transfer to me. Here. Why are you giving me this? It's a dowry. Me? That's a lot of money. What? She raised an eyebrow, the queen returning. Too little? Or do you not want to marry me? I looked at her. Her eyes held no madness, only clear, gentle love. I took the file, leaned down, and kissed her forehead. Edo. Of course I do. Victoria Sterling, I love you. Whether you're CEO or broke, I love you. Tears fell again, but this time they were happy. 3 months later, using those shares and her new company's momentum, Victoria unleashed hell on the market. She acquired competitors aggressively. Sterling Global, without her leadership, tanked. Arthur begged her to return. She refused. Under pressure from the board, he sold his controlling stake to her. Victoria returned to Sterling Global as the owner. But she didn't take the CEO office. She hired a professional management team. Making money is tiring, she told me, lying on the balcony of our penthouse. I just want to spoil my man. So, I resumed my life as the pampered husband. One sunny afternoon, I lay with my head in her lap, scrolling on my phone. Victoria, I've always wanted to ask. When did you start liking me? In the book. I mean, before. Why did she fixate on a background character like me? She paused, stroking my hair. Actually, she said softly, I lived through this once before. I was reborn. My eyes snapped open. In my first life, she whispered, looking at a distant memory, I followed the script. I fought Lily. I lost everything, and I died alone in the rain on a cold street. Everyone stepped over my body, except you. She looked down at me with infinite tenderness. Only you came over. You took off your cheap security jacket and covered me. You called the police for me. That moment, I swore, if I ever got a second chance, I would never let you go. Story complete.